Um, Let me give you the first opportunity to discuss this.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Franklin going to Virginia Tech?
I'm ecstatic. I think it's a grand slam. There really was 3 guys that I thought would be, kind of game changers for this. And the first one, just because I work with him every Saturday, he's available right now, was Jimbo Fisher. And I think that that's a guy that can recruit there very well. Obviously has ties to the 757 with EJ Manuel and others that he's been able to get there when he was at Florida State and some other of his stops. James Franklin, as soon as he became available, I was like, ooh, that's interesting. That's a guy that recruits this area unbelievably well, pretty much owns that territory. When you look at the 757, the Richmond area,
Mhm.
the DMV, all those essential spots that Virginia Tech has been losing, not only to Penn State, but to others. When you look around, kind of look at Indiana. I mean, look at all the guys that were at
Yeah.
JMU that were misevaluated by Virginia Tech that are superstars. I mean, you look at their 2 wide receivers, defensive back, defensive tackle, running back. There was one other prominent, maybe another wide receiver. I mean, I'm talking about superstars for
Mhm.
Virginia right now, or excuse me, for Indiana right now, all from Virginia, and that those guys are probably going and being with James Franklin and going to be evaluated differently. He's going to get that immediately, and I thought, whoa, that's super attractive. And then the third guy, which is super obvious, and maybe some Virginia Tech fans love it, maybe some don't, but Shane Beamer,
Yep.
at South Carolina, just as that situation was getting weirder and weirder, and who knows what they ultimately do at the end there. So those were the 3 that I'm kind of like, okay, this makes a ton of sense. One of them, any one of the 3, I think is a grand slam, and maybe Franklin makes the most sense because of the recruiting ties, and they get him, and they got him, and so here's kind of my thought. Virginia Tech, for those that are new to me as an analyst, I have hammered these guys for years. It is a sleeping giant of a program in regards to fan support is unbelievable. These guys have 4 wins and it's packed out and it's the loudest, craziest stadium you've ever seen. I've been there when they're down. I've been there when they're trending up. It's unbelievable. The recruiting hotbeds that are there, I think, are substantial. And now you have the added piece of the revenue being pushed into the football program.
Mhm.
Those all stand out as really impactful, very important things that now Virginia Tech has. You put the cherry on top of what I think one of the best guys to fit the job from a man perspective. I think Coach Franklin is an unbelievable man with high character, the way that he does things, the way that he values things. You talk to any one of his former players, Aaron, they're juiced up about this
Yep.
guy and they love him. And I think that's really important. The recruiting piece I talked about, and he wins. Like, I get it.
That's the
People want
base
to
he
point at
wins
his
everywhere he goes, like, I mean,
right.
I
Look at
faced him when he was
Vandy.
at
Yeah.
Vanderbilt and what he was able to turn Vanderbilt into, then you
Right.
look at Penn State, a
Yes.
team that was a handful of plays away from a national championship a year ago, and, like,
Right.
yes, the season this year was not going as expected. We kind of even us were clowning like, "Oh, well, I guess Franklin can't say anymore that he wins the games he's supposed to win," but I
Right.
don't think at any point you and I were calling for his head. It was just like kind of almost mocking that whole situation of, only beats teams that he's supposed
Right.
to beat, doesn't beat the big boys, that kind of like, hey, Penn State's expectations were yay high. This was going to be their year. And obviously that everything kind of came crashing down on them.
Yeah.
But I still felt when they made the fire that it was a very rash decision of
Yes.
who are you going to get that
Correct.
is better. And I think Penn State right now is looking around college football, especially with Nebraska's coach staying where he's
Yeah.
gonna
Rule.
stay,
Yeah. Coach Rule.
Rule staying is like, who are you going to get that is truly better than Franklin?
Exactly. I mean, you
Like,
saw
who
what
like,
he
I got
did.
all these people in my mentions right now on Twitter, like, going off, these Penn State fans. They're trying to defend their situation of, like,
Trying to
"We're
cope.
happy we got rid of him." Like,
Good.
you can say that,
Yeah.
but who are you going to get?
No,
That
you're
you're going
not.
to sit back and say, like, "Oh, we had an upgrade.
Correct.
We made
You
an
won't.
upgrade the head coaching spot." I think
Not
they're in for a rude
immediately,
awakening.
maybe over
Yeah,
time, but
not
not
immediately,
immediately.
no.
No,
No.
and I think the other, piece of that when you look at Billy Napier, when you look at in Florida, when you look at LSU and that situation with Brian Kelly, and you look and you compare it to James Franklin here, those guys have lost 1 recruit, and that's LSU. Florida has lost none in regards to decommitments. Penn State lost 17
Mm.
since Franklin has been fired. And guess what? they're all going to visit Virginia Tech, and I guarantee more than half of them will come to Virginia Tech on top of the players in the transfer portal that will immediately jump in if they haven't already and are going to come to Virginia Tech as well. That's the most interesting thing to me, Aaron, is it's not, oh, we got a great coach. Now we got to let him build his culture and get a couple recruits. No, it's right now. This guy can supersize this team, can boost this team like crazy, and get these guys in here. And he's going to. This Virginia Tech roster is going to look night and day different with the influx of talent that this guy's going to be able to get. And I think that's terrifying. You look at their schedule, they go to Maryland, which is a massive recruiting game. Other than that, they have on the road at Miami, on the road at Clemson, very, difficult to play those two teams. But it's going to be a fun schedule. And this is nothing that he's not used to being in
Mhm.
the Big Ten, being at Penn State and playing in these massive games. The next step will be to win them. And every
Yep.
coach learns, every coach goes through the different seasons. But I think this is a grand slam. I think Virginia Tech right now is a player in the college football playoff for 2026. That race of however many teams we start with, Virginia Tech standing in that line ready to run.
Clip that bitch. Let's go. Love it. I love it. All right, we got to get in some games. We spent a little bit too long on the playoff rankings. We both agree a home run hire for Virginia Tech.